Namaste, good day to all my students. In this lecture, I will explain about Edge Streaming Analytics, fifth topic in Module 4. Here, already we discussed about edge computing, fog computing, as well as cloud computing, right? Already you are having the idea, and this edge streaming also, the analytics which is happening in the edge, that is called as edge streaming, right? And here the question what it is going to arise here is, cloud analytics is better or edge analytics is better? In most of the cases, edge analytics is better, and if you want to do some more analytics, sometimes we cannot able to do all the analytics in the edge only. That means, for example, I have some values, 100% value. There, 60% of the values I can do analytics in edge. Remaining 40% I cannot able to do. Then what I should do? I can send that particular data to the cloud. There I can do the analytics. That is the difference. The question after some slides it will come. The question will arise is, can we replace cloud analytics with edge? It is not possible, because in edge analytics can be used for some cases only. We cannot able to use for every values or every data. But cloud analytics we have to use for so many things. One is bulk amount of data are more. We cannot able to do everything in the edge. We have to go to the cloud. We have to store in the cloud and we have to do it. Right? Now one by one I will explain here. The major area of evolution for IT in the past few years has been transition to cloud services. Now if you are saying most of the services which is happening in the cloud only, it is not happening in the data center in the company, because most of the time, and can you ask data center can be a cloud? Can be possible, but here is most of the operation now in our industry are happening in the cloud, even though the analytics also. Large technology company in now selling software and services from the cloud. Yeah, bigger company, they are selling the software and services with the help of the cloud only. And this includes data analytics system also. The data analytics also they are going to do, right? Like how they are selling the software and service, like that they are helping the people to do for the data analytics. That means if I have some data for analytics, I can send to them, I can send to their cloud, they will do the analytics, then they will send back the result to me. Whether they are offered as a service from the public cloud operator or are building in massive private data cloud. Either they can do it on the public cloud through the internet, we can access that particular data, or we can send that particular data, they will give the result back through the public cloud. Otherwise, we can get the private cloud also, which is there in our house only. If you are thinking, there on private cloud, it is not connected with the internet. I can send all the data to the private cloud without the internet. That is a local area network I can create. With the help of that private cloud, it can analyze. That is the thing. One is through internet I can analyze. One is through local area network, which is there in my home itself. I can analyze. Both possibilities are there. Now all the things now we are discussing is regarding to the cloud only. We will go back to edge after few sentences. Right. Analyzing a massive volume of time sensitive IoT data is a centralized cloud. Yes, if massive amount of volume is data is there, we have to go with the centralized cloud. It's nothing but a cloud analytics we can use. In the world of IoT, vast quantity of data are generated on the fly, yes, and often need to be analyzed and responded to immediately. That means nowadays the fly means in the air, because most of the data is moving through the wireless communication through the air. Now most of the data are generated in the air, or most of the data is generated through IoT network and it is flowing or it is moving through the air. There can we do the analytics? That will be better. That is a question. Yeah. Not only it's the volume of data generated in the edge, meaning the bandwidth requirement to the cloud. Yeah. Here the next thing I will explain this sentence. What is the thing is, if more amount of data is generating, This all the amount of data from IoT network I should send to the cloud. Cloud may be very far. Then bandwidth, because if I want to send the data, I want bandwidth. The bandwidth consumption, it will be more. Time consumption will be more, because this all the data have to be go to the cloud. Then only analytics can be happen, because that time taken will be more. That is why better wherever the data is generating locally, can you able to analytics, can you able to analyze some data, do it in the maximum level. Remaining data you send it, that is fine, right? That means deep analysis you can do it in the cloud. That means light analysis or something can be do it in the edge. Can please do it there only. Do not want to do everything to send to the cloud and then only can do the analytics. Do not want to think like that. That means some complex things. That is why deep analysis is there. You do it in the cloud. They take the example of automobile racing. One racing is there. One racing it is happening there. In the where the car is moving, there 150 to 200 sensors are there. They kept in the road on and combined generated more than 150 to 200 sensors are there inside the car, and 1000 data points are there. That means the car is moving, each car having 150 to 200 sensors, right? And sensor, it is going to communicate with the roadside some 1000 data point. That means sensor data is going to connect, or sensor data is going to collect with the some of the devices which is there in the roadside. How many devices? 1000 it is kept. And this 1000 devices will get the data immediately. It will process the data and it will give back to that particular car, right? It do not want to send that data points, do not want to store the data. It will store the data and it will analyze and it will give the result back to the car. And that particular data do not want to store in a cloud very far. What happened? This car is moving. Some data regarding to movement of the car can be given to that particular driver. There's a pit is there or something like that. It is going to identify immediately, can be informed to the car driver so that he can turn it, and quality of the tire and so on. So many things we can analyze once the car is moving. And that is why it is saying that do not want to do everything in the cloud, which is near to that car where it is moving, because it can be communicate very fastly. That is the meaning of that one, right? This all the things are explaining about what I just now explained. Accidents can be avoided, weather condition can be find it out, because so many sensors are there. Once it is approaching, it can find it out. The what is the weather it is going to come once it is driving. After some time, what is the weather? Like that, it is going to get it. This all things it is useful for the driver, right? Now, next is comparing big data and edge analytics. When you hear the term big data, it is usually in refers to unstructured data, right? Big data, once we are saying, it is always focused on unstructured data like images, video, audio, and so on. And most of the data are stored in the cloud. There we are going to do the analytics. The data is collected over time so that it can be analyzed through data batch processing tools such as RDMS or Hadoop or some other tool. That means batch processing means we are going to store all the data into the cloud, or data at rest we can call batch processing. Then we can do the analytics. That we can do using RDMS, which is for only for structured data. For the unstructured data, if you want, we can use the Hadoop also. What it is saying is the data it is storing in the cloud, there the analytics is going to happen. Tools like Hadoop and MapReduce are great at tackling problems that require deep analytics on large and complex quantity of unstructured data. That means complex data are there. Definitely we cannot able to do the computation at the edge. We have to move to the cloud. There we can install some Hadoop and we can analyze with the help of MapReduce, right? By applying the data analytics to the car, already we discussed here, because there we cannot able to use the cloud, because we have to use some edge analytics only. It will be better. Big data analytics is used to examine all the statistics of the racing team and player based upon the performance in the data center or cloud. And that one we can do it at last, right? Because the performance, everything we can collect it at last, we can do it in the data center or the cloud. While the big data can apply analytics in real time, it can be mainly focused on batch job analytics on large volume of data. And even though the question is big data can be applied analytics in the real time, it is also possible with the help of big data. Streaming analytics involve analyzing a race while it is happens and trying to figure out who is going to win, right? That is why the streaming analytics. Here, previously we discussed about stored the data in the cloud and analytics. And here another concept, what I explained previously, it is somewhat related to this one, is streaming analytics. Streaming analytics means before storing the data, from that particular data, can we do the analytics? It is possible. That is why it is saying, once we are doing the moving the data, car is moving, the data is collecting to the data point, and that particular point of time, it is analytics is happening. That is streaming analytics. With the help of that one, even though we can find it out which car is going to win after few seconds, that also we can find it out. That only meaning. Streaming analytics allow you to be continually monitor and access data in the real time. Already you can understand it is continually monitoring the data from the car while the car is moving, so that in the race case we can help that particular driver a lot. Either at the sensor, okay, which are the analytics are there in the streaming level. One is in the sensor level, that is called as edge analytics, or we can do in the fog level, it is called as with the fog node, which is a gateway node. That is the second form of analytics. One is a sensor itself, that is called as edge analytics. Next one is called as fog analytics, which is there in the fog node. It is nothing but a gateway, which is the collection point of data from the sensor, right? That already I explained. That is the gateway. It is explaining here. That streaming analytics replaces the, already I said, streaming analytics can be replaced the big data analytics. It's not possible because big data analytics, it is happening in the cloud. Some of the complex things, if we want to do, still we have to do in the cloud only. In one sense, the raw data is generated in the data center. It makes sense to analyze there. Maybe we are using not even the cloud, we are just using the data center. There also we can do it. But what is the majority of the data is being generated in the remote location by sensor that are spread over the worldwide. Because if the majority of the data which is storing in the remote location like a cloud, there definitely we have to do the analytics. There is no doubt. Because that particular previous question, that answer it is going to give you. Once it can be analyzed and reduced at the edge, that's all I already told. 100 data are there, 50 data if I done analytics in the edge, remaining data only I want to send to the cloud, and there I can do the analytics. This also implies a communication system where edge and fog nodes are able to communicate with each other. And otherwise, more better thing is first I can do some analytics in edge, then I can do some analytics in fog, then remaining analytics I can do using big data in cloud. That is a thing. Roadway sensor combined with the GPS wayfinding app may tell a driver to avoid the certain highway due to traffic. With the help of GPS, we can track the vehicle and we can inform to the driver that in the some distance, some meters after, there is a chance for traffic, or some meters after there is a chance for accident due to the weather condition. Like that, we can give an advanced information we can give to the driver, right? These are all the things, block is there or not, congestion is there or not. These are all the things we can inform it. From the security perspective also, this edge computing will help a lot to the person who is driving. Reducing the data at the edge. That only already we discussed previously. Again, I will explain. The aggregate data generated from the IoT devices generally in proportion to the number of devices. What it is given is 5 sensors are there. Can we combine this all the data in the sensors in the edge? Then we can send, or this all the data I will combine it from different or 3 sensors. Maybe that same type of sensors. I can combine that particular data or different types of sensors. Can we combine that particular data? Then I can do some analytics there itself. Then remaining data I can send to the cloud. That also it is good. Next is analysis and response at the edge. Already I told it will be better. time sensitivity. If it is happening in the edge time, we can save it, right? Edge analytics is a core function. It's a very good function for the real-time functionality. That is the meaning. Raw input data. The raw data coming from the sensor in the analytics processing unit. That is a diagram is there. We will discuss that one. This line I will explain. Then we will directly go to the diagram in the case of, because what is the data is coming? It is going to give to a device called as, or a program called as analytics processing unit. What is the beauty of that one? Analytics processing unit filter and combine the data stream. Either the different data are coming, pressure related data or temperature related data. It can filter it. That is one of the major property of APU, right? And based upon that particular data can we do the analytics. I will show the diagram. See here, different data are coming to a APU. Here, this is the APU, analytics processing unit. Different types of data, multiple raw input data. Here it can filter that particular data based upon the need. Pressure data or temperature data can be filtered. Then it can do the analytics here, and output data it can give, right? Result output data. In the output data means analytics is happened, that result can come. Also the remaining data for processing also can be there, and that particular data we can send to a cloud, right? Then there the remaining processing can be do. And this communication we can use MQTT for sending the data, message queuing, telemetry, transport, and it is working based upon publisher subscriber with the help of broker, right? That is a concept here. Next one is a filter. The streaming data generated by the IoT endpoint is likely to be very large. Already I told the filtering of data is going to happen here. That means the data is coming, we can filter the data and we can separate the data, and that separated data we can do the analytics. Transform. Maybe first the thing is, what is the raw data we got it. First we can filter it, that is extract it, then we can transform it, because that same data we cannot able to analytics. We have to do in some other way, or we have to transform, we have to change that particular data, and then we can load the data. Load the data means it can give to the edge analytics machine, or we can send the data to the cloud for analytics, right? For analytics, that is transform. Next is time. As the real-time streaming data flows, a timing context needs to be established. This could be correlated average temperature reading from sensor on a minutes by minutes basis. That means minute by minute basis, the temperature reading from the sensors I can take. For example, from a car is running, in that engine I kept a temperature sensor. The temperature related data minute by minute I will take it from that particular engine with the help of the sensor. I am going to get there itself. I can do the analytics. That is why time by time. I do not want to waste the time. I do not want to send that particular data to the cloud. This is the example it is showing here. Some date plus time, which sensor the data is getting, what is the amount of data. Like that it is explaining. Sensor 5 is there, sensor 3 is there, sensor 3 is there, sensor 2, different sensors. How the analytics is happening. You see here, first 3 sensor data, here 2 values are from the same sensor, sensor 3. One is from the sensor 5, right? And sensor 3 data, what it is going to do is, it is going to aggregate. That means average it's going to write 27.2 to 26.89. Its average temperature it is going to consider here. What is the value it is given? Temperature means temperature. It is going to find it out. But sensor 5 is only one value that is repeated. Like that, a combination it is going to taken care. And this particular stream of data, again we can go for analytics. That is the meaning of that. Now correlate. Streaming data analytics become more powerful when multiple data streams. How it is become correlate means multiple data stream can be combined. Then it will be better. In the hospital case, temperature data is only I am getting. It is not useful. Temperature data of a patient I should get, blood pressure, heart rate, respiratory rate. These all the things if I done combined, and if I am doing the analytics, it will be getting a good result for me. There I can say that what is the exact health of that particular patient. That will be better. And one more thing, if I am going to do the history of the patient, after before 1 month, what was the history? If I am going to compare with the current, this all the values, and then it will be more better. That is the diagram it is showing. First, these data are given. Pressure data I should separate, that is with the help of filter. Temperature data I should separate. Heartbeat data I should separate. Then I have to transform for my analytics and correlate. Here, that analytics I am going to happen here, real-time data plus historical data, which was the previous data 1 year back, 1 year back. The data also I am going to compare with real-time data. Then I can go get a good analysis that I can decide that the patient having some problem related to heart or related to brain. Easily we can find it out. Match patterns. Once the data stream are properly cleaned, transform and correlate, and we can match that one. That's only we have said. Matching means previous data with the current data we can match, and we can get the expected pattern. We can find it out, and that particular pattern we can get to know that that particular patient having any problem, or in future he can get any problem or not. That are the things here. And definitely improve the business intelligence. Edge analytics is in the improvement to the business intelligence that were not previously available. Edge analytics, because it is not far. A patient is there, in the patient only, in the body only, we can connect the edge devices. There itself, it can do the analytics. If that particular data, it can be structured or unstructured, also it's possible. If it is want to send to the doctor or the hospital, later we can send. If all the values what it is going to get, and analytic after the analytics which is happening in the edge or which is happening in the body, because there only we are connected to the devices, it is fine means that particular data did not want to send, or that particular data can send later. It is not that much urgent. If patient don't have a problem, why have to send the data urgently, right? It can send the data later when the good bandwidth is getting. At that time it can send. If some problem is there, definitely it have to send. This all the things will help the business also. Distributed analytics system now. Applications and network architecture analytics can happen at any point throughout the system. Anywhere we can do the analytics. That is a very simple thing. Already we discussed. Streaming analytics may be performed directly at the edge, fog or cloud. These all the things we discuss here. Again, it is explaining here once again for understanding clearly. And it is in distributed fashion. That means the data it is not storing in one place. It can store in edge, and some of the data can be stored in fog. And this all the data can be repeatedly, if you want, it can be stored in the cloud, or some of the data can be sent. This all the things are depend upon mostly that bandwidth. May not be able to respond to event as quickly as analytics perform directly. Yeah, if I'm doing in the analytics perform at the edge, the speed of processing or speed of response, it is more than the things which is happening in the edge. That is a thing here. We are having one diagram here. See this particular diagram. Different temperature or pressure sensor, we are collecting the data. It is in the edge location. And there are broker will collect the data, and it is going to send to different analytics. From one broker to other broker, it is going to send the data, right? From here, next one is streaming analytics. Live data, it is streamed and it is going to do the analytics. And after the analytics, again the broker is collecting the result and it is given to another broker, because it is very far. And communication among the broker, we can use message queuing, telemetry, transport. It's a message protocol for sending the data. That's it. From the broker, we can use the dashboard. Dashboard means it's nothing but, it is already explained here. It is some instructions. Some instructions we can set it in the dashboard. Based upon that one, we can represent the data here, data visualization using the bar graph, or I can show the data. If I which way I want to show the data, I want to show using the bar graph or some other graph manner. That everything I can do the setting in the dashboard. And data lake is used for storage of the data. It's like a storage, right? Data can be stored here with the help of broker, and data can be visualized, can be represented, so that a common person can understand what was the result. And that particular settings can be do with the help of the dashboard. And this is the thing for distributed analytics through IoT system. Next topic is network analytics. That is the sixth topic in module 4. Here already we discussed about network analytics, not in depth. I explained briefly what is network analytics. In the network, we are going to do the analytics. In other words, we want to find it out any congestion is going to happen, or we are going to find it out any path having problem or not. For that one, in the network where the data is moving, there we have to do the analytics, the network having some problem or not. That is called as network analytics. Analytics that is extremely important in managing the IoT system is network based analytics. Here, data analytics, unlike, it's not like data analytics, because data analytics is doing the analytics on data, what data it is going to generate. Here the analytics is looking on the how the network is coming, how the network is happening, traffic over the network. If some path it is having high traffic, then it will find it out and it will say to, or it will send the data through some other path. That are the useful thing of the network analytics. Network analytics has a power to analyze the details of communication pattern made by the protocols, how the protocol, we are apply some protocol in the network, that protocol is working fine or not, or malware is happening or not. Malware means some attack is happened, or path is the source to destination path is getting fine or not, or that particular path having any problem, or more traffic is happening or not, that is congestion is happening or not, excessive congestion, it's nothing but the traffic, it is happening or not. These are all the things we can find it out with the help of network analytics. This is a diagram. This diagram is related to field area network, right? Here you see here, one site is there, it having some devices, or it is here, and it is something is happening, the data is moving to a router. This is the site number 2, some operation is happening and data is going to a router. At site number 3, some operation is happening and data is going to a router, right? From there, the router, it is moving to another router. Here we applied potential flexible net flow collection point. This net flow collection point we are going to discuss detailedly on the next slides, right? Here it's a briefly way they are explained IPv4, IPv6, the data which is coming with the help of IP, that is why IPv4 data may be coming, or IPv6 data may be coming, or the IPv4 or v6 data, it is going to compare with the TCP or UDP, because IP cannot able to transfer the data. With the help of TCP or UDP, it is going to use. That means IPv4 data can come here, IPv6 data can come here, V4 means V4 plus TCP, or V4 plus UDP, or IPv6 plus TCP, or IPv6 plus UDP. These are the different forms of data can come here. That data is going to, then these are the things are in the, maybe this all the things may be in the far place or remote place, and that particular data can come to a SCADA. What is SCADA? It is supervisory control and data acquisition, right? There what we can do is we can independently process that particular data. What is head point? It is a control room. That is the meaning of head point. It is a remote site. We can do the analytics, or we can do some independent operations. We can do it here. Or this is the point where we are collecting the data and network operation, or everything is happening good or not, everything we can analyze here also. That is for the network operation management. And there we have a DHCP. It is a destination host configuration protocol, that also we have in the upcoming slides. Network operations, how we can manage, or network operation, the information how we can collect with the help of this one, it is going to discuss in the upcoming slides. And head end is nothing but a control room. There also we can do some processing. Here the important thing is different forms of data we are collecting here, combination of different IP, and you're going to send to SCADA head end for analysis. Or here the network related data we can collect and analyze here, and some other type of data. If you want to do the analytics, you can do it in this control room also. That is the meaning of this one. Here scalable IoT deployment as well as security monitoring, we can do it. Traffic volume, we can find it out, because in the second one we can do this everything, traffic monitoring and all. IoT devices sends its traffic to a specified server, either directly to the, if you want to, IoT devices can send the data directly to a server, or with the help of brokers it can send. IoT brokers can be used, and we can send with the help of IoT broker. It can use a TCP, IP can use it with the help of TCP or UDP. That only it is explaining here. Here, monitoring network, and we can monitor the network with the help of de facto standards. De facto standard already we discussed in the previous lecture also. De facto means industrial standard, which is defined from some organization. Based upon that standard only can be used here. Based upon that one, we can do the IP traffic flows, can be find it out, and which is the source address, which is the destination address it is going, and what time it is going. This everything we can find it out from the network. It will be useful only. Flow statistics. Flow statistics means from one source to one destination, how the flow of data is going, and which are the intermediate devices are there. We can find it out, because one flow, for example, I want to send some 100 data. One flow I selected from Puttur to Bangalore. That means that flow, so many routers, intermediate devices are there. One flow, if I find it out using the first data, and remaining 99 data, total 100 data are there, remaining 99 data can be flow through that particular flow. That is the meaning there. After the data is collected in a non format, it can be sent to external network analytics tools. And if we collected the data, that particular data we can send to the network analytics tools. External network, it may be far, that is why. So that the security, performance monitoring, everything we can find it out with the help of network analytics tools, once we have given the data to the network analytics tool. Benefit of the flow analytics in addition to other network management services are follow. And what are the other data we can collect? One is traffic monitoring and profiling. Traffic monitoring means real-time monitoring the data. That's it. We can use IPv4 or IPv6, both we can use, because that everything it is going to check it out, right? Next one is application traffic monitoring and profiling. Here we can use different protocols for doing that one. The protocols: message queuing, telemetry transport. It's a form of messaging, and we can send that particular data to different clouds. Then we can do the processing. Again, another is COAP, Constraint Application Protocol. This is also another protocol for sending the data only. DNP3, Distributed Network Protocol, already in that diagram it is there. That particular protocols also we can use for helping to send the data, and there later we can do the analytics. Next is the third one is capacity planning. Track and anticipate or predict the IoT traffic growth, and this is what is the use of this particular one is we can predict the traffic in the future. That is a very important thing. Now we will analyze it, and we can predict the traffic in the future. Based upon that one, if you want to improve that network, we can go for improvement with the help of capacity planning. Next one is accounting. In the field area network FAN, routers or gateway are often physically isolated and leverage a public cellular service and VPN for the backhaul network, because that field area network, it is separated. It's an IoT network, it is separated, and from the global network with the help of cellular service or VPN, that only it is explaining here. And here the main thing is thousands or gateway connecting to the last mile IoT network over a cellular network, because field area network is a IoT network that is completely separated, and that particular data have to be moved to the cloud. How many gateways are using? That thousands of gateway, because with the help of the gateway we can collect the data and we can send the data. But what here it is saying is that IoT network is completely separate from this particular network. That is a very important thing here. All right. Next is data warehousing and data mining. Data flow can be warehoused or later retrieved and analyzed in support with proactive analysis of multi-service IoT infrastructure and application. This data warehousing means what is the data it is going to generate. It can be stored on some place. Later, if you want to get it that particular data, you can get it. That is the meaning. Next, flexible net flow architecture. Already I told in the diagram it was there, that I can explain. That is the thing here it is. coming here. It is flexible net flow FNF or IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force IP fix. What is IP fix? IP flow information export. That details about these two. It is explaining in RFC 5101 and RFC 5102. These two documents, the details of FNF as well as IETF, IP fix, the details will be there. We can open this particular document and we will get more about that one. FN is a flow technology development by Cisco company, because flow technology, by flowing the data, we can do the analytics. What are the helpful things from FNF will get? It is flexible, it is easily can be used, scalable, number of devices we can increase it whenever we want, aggregation and data is going to aggregate, combine in it is going to send. What are the next helpful things we can get it from FNF is ability to monitor a wide range of packet. We can monitor that particular wide range of packet, different forms of data, and we can find it out the network abnormality. Some problem is there in the network, we can find it out with the help of FNF. That is why that one is I will show you the diagram so that you will understand once again. It is a very far previous. Here, this is the FNF thing, which is before moving the data to different clouds here, and we are connecting with this FNF, right? The details. Yeah, that is the thing, because this everything security detection we can do using FNF. Customized traffic identification we can find it out, because a particular person is sending a data to one flow, we can give that particular flow, or we can give that particular path to them so that we can communicate to that destination with that help of that particular path. Maybe you want to send more amount of data, that particular path can be find it out, and how long time he is going to use that particular path, or how long time he is going to send the data. All the things we can account it also. That also with the help of FNF can be do, right? Next is this diagram you see is FNF components. It is saying SCADA head. It is a control unit. Already we said this data is coming. This is the part which is happening here. FNF is happening, and it can send the data to AMI head end or network flow. That same diagram it is showing with the previously their head end only. It is AMI head end. It is showing advanced metering infrastructure. We can find it out here. How much time it is using, everything it can be find it out. And this is also a control unit. We can do some calculation. This is network related things it is going to calculate. And what is this one also I will explain. Here in the key fields and non-key fields are there. Key fields means the source address, destination address of the packet, everything is going to get here. And one more thing here it is explaining. I will go through that one. First I will explain this one. Even though FNF having some cache, there are also source address, destination address. It is a format. There everything it will be there. And this is one packet format, and this is another packet format. That's it. Because the source address and destination address is going to change. Here one thing it is explaining here. Key fields are there. It is source address, destination address, as well as non-key fields also is there. We are going to discuss in the upcoming slides what is non-key fields also. Here, what is the thing here? It is explaining here is what is the meaning of this one is. One time we got one packet. For example, I want to send some 100 packet. The first packet we generated, their key fields, everything it is filled. Later, I do not want to change that key fields. It will be always same source address, destination address. Everything is key fields only. Next, what data it is sending, it is going to change. First time I am sending one form of data. Second time I am changing another form of data. That field only have to be changed. For example, a continuously communication between one source to one destination. If the source and destination it is changing, then the key fields also it is going to change. That only it is explaining here, right? Next one. Here, what are the things are there in the FNF? One by one, we have to explain here. Key fields and non-key fields are there. And non-key fields, characteristics of the flow, it is going to store in the non-key field. Key fields, the flow, which flow it is, what is the source address, destination address, everything it is going to store here, right? Net flow cache, that also I shown there. It is the net flow cache. it will store that particular details, right? Go to the next one. Flow records also again key fields and non-key fields only. There the flow records, we already know that from one source to one destination, all the details it is going to store it, right? Exporter, what is exporter? FNF exporter. Net flow data using the show commands at the command line CLF interface using the application reporting tool. I will explain here. NetFlow export, unlike NetFlow export, is not like simple network management protocol. This is also another protocol only for checking the network related data, which is pushes the information periodically to the NetFlow reporting collector. NetFlow reporting collector is there. That is a device it will collect the data and network flow information. It is going to analyze it there. What is the property of the export is have to be export the data, have to be send the data to that particular device. Flow export timers is there. Timer indicate how often it have to send the data. 1 second after it have to send, or 2 seconds after it have to send that particular data. It is going to store in flow export timer. There is a timer. It will find it out at what time it have to send that particular data, and what is the format of the export format. Source address where I have to keep, or destination address where I have to keep, or original data where I have to keep that every information. Next is NetFlow server or collection and the reporting. This is the destination for the flow export, where exactly the data have to be sent. Next one is flexible NetFlow in multi-service IoT network. What is that? FNF we configure on the router that aggregates the connection from last mile router. So that means maybe it is going to aggregate the data and it is going to send to that particular cloud for the analytics. It gives a global view of all service flowing between the core network in the cloud and the last mile network. It will give a global view. It will give a entire view of that particular network. FNF can also be configured in the last mile gateway. Already you know, in FNF we can configure in the last mile gateway. What is last mile? Last mile from server to your home, the data movement. That is the last mile. It is a last mile we will call, sometimes we will call it as last kilometer also. We are maybe going to call it as. Wherever we want, we can keep that FNF. That means near to our home or near to our IoT network, you can keep this FNF also. Here, flow analytics can be the gateway. It's not possible with the IoT system. Next is LoRaWAN. Gateways, we can simply forward the MAC layer sensors. And here one more thing is saying here, LoRaWAN we can use. LoRaWAN, it's communicating in the layer 2 device. It is not going to use the layer 3 IP. That only it is explaining here. With the help of the LoRa gateway also, we can send the data with the help of MAC layer. Do not want to use the IP. Here we can use the MQTT. Already we said MQTT server we can use for sending the data. And some of the challenging things of this one, it is going to explain in the FNF. What is that one? It is a distributed nature of fog and edge computing. May mean that the traffic flows are processed in the places because it is distributed in nature, and the traffic flows are happening in a distributed way. That is why analytics happening is not that much easy. And here we are using both IPv4 and v6. That is why with the help of virtual private network, it is both are there. That is why router performance may come down, because with the help of the router we are going to send the data and all. That is why performance can be come down. There is a chances there. Next one is additional network management traffic is generated by FNF reporting device. This added cost of increasing bandwidth. Maybe while sending this one, we have to increase the bandwidth, and this bandwidth also it is become a problem here. It is explaining here, and the added cost of increasing bandwidth and the cost of the increase, because we want to send that particular data, bandwidth is required, and this bandwidth also it's become a problem because it's an extra burden for the IoT provider to check. But we want this FNF because we have to analyze that particular network traffic is there, or this all the things are there, even though we can find it on the security related things also. That's why this is FNF. It's a non-avoidable one. we already know that some challenges is there for everything. Some challenges will be there. I hope you understood with this one. Thank you very much.